Welcome back to Sawtooth Tactical. The Supreme Court upheld the Illinois assault weapons ban again. And I'm going to tell you why this is bad for all of us, not just those that live in the state of Illinois. I used to live in Washington, a horrible state for gun rights. Now I live in Idaho. But you know what? We still need to pay attention to what's happening in these other states. And I'm going to explain some of the reasons why in this video. So make sure you're subscribed and let's get started. So this is the issue. The Illinois assault weapons ban. This legislation was enacted after the Highland Park shooting in which 7 people were killed. And the gun controllers on the left, they just lick their lips whenever there's a mass shooting because that's when they feel like they have more power to ban semi-automatic rifles, standard capacity magazines, all of these things that we have complete rights to own, not just because of the Second Amendment. So let me explain something real quick, and I'm sure many of you know this, but the Second Amendment does not grant us any rights. We have the right to protect ourselves really by any means necessary. The founding fathers of this country wrote the Second Amendment into our Constitution, into the Bill of Rights, to limit what the government can do as far as disarming us. And basically, they said the government can't do anything. That's what shall not be infringed means. The scary thing about the Supreme Court upholding this assault weapons ban, like I said, again, they upheld it last August as well, is that, this Supreme Court is supposed to be a little bit more conservative. In general, they've made decisions that are good for the Second Amendment, good for our rights. But there was not a single dissent in this decision. And the big problem with this is that the same kinds of things can happen for national decisions when it comes to legislation restricting our rights to self-preservation, our rights to keep and bear the things that we feel like we want or need in order to protect our homes, ourselves, and our families. And when things like this happen, other states, especially other liberal states, feel like they got the go-ahead to pass laws of their own in the same way. Like I said, I was born and raised in Washington State. I feel sorry for the people that live in Washington these days. They basically can't own like anything that's on the wall behind me right now. Not 100% true, but for the most part, you can't even get AR parts in Washington anymore, let alone a 30-round magazine, which is just crazy to me. The Second Amendment said nothing about magazine capacity, about any firearms technology at all. It had nothing to do with firearms technology. It just has to do with what the government is not allowed to do. But all of these states are feeling pretty bold that they can basically do whatever they want to infringe upon our rights at this point. And while there have been decisions in our favor in the last year, there's also been decisions like this. And when they feel like they could do things like this, there will be more and more legislation that they try to push through. And if the Supreme Court doesn't let these things get blocked, well, then we're screwed. Elizabeth Warren is trying to pass legislation right now that would literally gut the Second Amendment. We have Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, who, in my opinion, is obviously trying to make a bid at the presidency, whether in 2024 or in 2028. And that is a scary thing for those of us that believe in freedom. Gavin Newsom does not believe in freedom. He has practically destroyed California, and he is 100% against civilian firearm ownership. So what happens if he becomes president and starts trying to pass what they've done in California for the entire nation? And if our Supreme Court upholds things like that, what does that mean for the future of our country? Now, I know a lot of you are like, shoot, I will not comply. F the government, F the ATF. And yeah, dude, I'm all about that. But it's nice to not have to worry about anyone knocking on your door because your neighbor saw you take some gun cases out to go practice out in the woods one day and turns you in or something. And then all of a sudden, you're looking at 10 years in prison for owning something that right now is perfectly legal. There is something to be said for not complying with unconstitutional infringements. But there's also something to be said for, having our rights legally and not having to worry about things like that. I would love to know what you guys think about this down in the comments. So please let me know. I really enjoy interacting with you guys. And in fact, I get ideas from you guys about videos to make. I recently did one about my entire gun collection. That was totally because I got a lot of comments from people asking for that video. So if you have any great ideas, let me know. I do have tons of content coming out soon though. Lots of new things. We're in the middle of the EDC build, and as you can see, it definitely looks different than it did last week. And I've also got Holosun EPS. I've got a video about that coming out. I've got new stuff that was just sent to me to review. We've got lots of good things coming. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you give me a like if you enjoyed this video or thought that it was helpful or thought-provoking in any way. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.